your life sounds pretty great. Don't let a buzz ruin it. Buzz driving is drunk driving. Don't drive buzzed. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fanrun Radio. You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340, WKGN Knoxville, and W289CU Knoxville, Fanrun Radio.
We're processing here in the studio, ladies and gentlemen. Processing, I say. As it is another incredible kind of Basilio Show live with you. Making it happen. Don't, whatever you do, try this at home. Several people have. They realize it's not that easy. Because why was it so easy for me to be with you? That's a great Daryl Hall song. Look that thing up and come back to me. Tell me if that's a good vocal. But here we are. We're fired up, focused, and prepared. I want to read something to you. Hey, Bri, have you recovered last night? From last night? Have you recovered from the festivities last night? Have you recovered?
I don't think the South Carolina Post players have recovered from last night.
What did you make of it?
I counted 15 dunks.
Yep.
I counted like 15 people in the stands cheering for South Carolina last night, too.
It was unbelievable. Maybe. What else did we miss last night for the uninitiated, Bri? What did we miss last night in the SEC? Basically, everything broke Tennessee's way, right?
Yeah, South Carolina beating them was pretty much a break in the schedule. Kentucky lost A&M, and Missouri lost to Oklahoma to push them a game back of Tennessee. A&M is also a game back. Tennessee owns the tiebreaker there.
Yep.
So if the Vols beat Vandy, they will be the 4 seed in the SEC tournament. Joe Lunardi has Tennessee on the 5 line, and they're flirting with the 4 line after last night. So that could still be in play.
Wow.
Rick Barnes said that if that would have been the last game of the season, that Nate Ament would have played. Nate Ament wanted to play last night, but they held him out. So do with that what you will going forward.
I'm not buying that, but that's good for him. I'm glad they're saying that.
And Danny White just came out and gave Kim Caldwell, I guess, a vote of confidence. He said that she's doing a great job.
Let's freaking go, Danny! As she had a senior quit on her yesterday. It was something we'll talk with Watson about next hour. But she had a gal on senior day, Brian, who they didn't play in basically a blowout. And then she asked her to go into the game with 15 seconds left, and this young lady refused. And then the mother went on social media and called Kim Caldwell every name, everything in the book, called her classless and the whole deal for not starting her daughter on senior day, who played a bunch last year, right, Bri?
I'm not sure. I don't think I'd heard of her until this just recently. So to be honest, I don't know. But she hadn't played much this year. And with the way they hockey substitute, they felt like she should have gotten a chance.
So Van Hagar had a tune called Come On Baby, Finish What You Started, with some pretty good chicken picking, some good handwork from the great Edward Van Halen. What record was that on, Sean Sinclair? What, Come On Baby, Finish What You Started?
I don't know. Is that 0812 or?
There you go. Or is it 5150? 5150 was the keyboardish stuff, right? Get higher and higher. All right, Cinco.
No, it was on. It appears to be on OU812.
There you go.
Nailed
Which should have been what year? Is that like late 80s?
88.
88. I still remember driving around with Walton up in the mountains, listening to that jam. When we would go up to the sinks and swim. Cinco, did you ever swim at the sinks back in the day?
Did not go to the sinks, Tony B.
Okay, so the sinks are this little watering hole up there. People that know. And he used to do like death-defying dives off this high.
Well, he is. Look,
a maniac.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. One of the greatest things of all time.
Yes.
I hope he's listening.
Yes.
Because he was my roommate for a year.
Yes.
Was going to the Student Aquatic Center and watch. I mean, he did stuff that would make Rodney Dangerfield and the Triple Lindy look like amateurish.
My brother-in-law.
He could do anything off the high dive.
And he would have welts from head to toe when he got done. At any rate, that song it's funny how music brings back memories. Because maybe the old songs will bring back the old times. And this is what I want to talk about. We're going to talk with Watson about this. Little trivial question for you here, okay? So we have senior night this week, and the Lady of all kerfluffles over senior night. And then Frankie Collins, the worst kept secret in the world, who shut himself down after 9 games. Brian, is he about to go to his 5th team in 5 years? He's the ultimate vagabond. Anyway, he quit Vanderbilt's team yesterday, or today, or whenever it was. Worst kept secret in the world, okay? He just said, I'm not playing anymore. And they were having a really nice season when he did it. I think they were like 16-0 at one point. They were something like that. They were really playing well. Now the wheels are borderline off for them. But here you go. This is from Isaac Trotter, who counted such things. Sean Sinclair, we have 16 teams in the SEC. Do we agree on that?
I'm going to go with your observation, yes.
All right. The Sinks are a part of the Little River, according to Michael Stanton. They start at Klingman's Dome and run through Townsend, Blount County. That's right. And the Sinks were we found a little watering hole up there. My last swimming deal at the Sinks came when we were up there on I guess it would have been like a summer day. It was pretty nice. The water's so refreshing when you jump in it. But I had 2 snakes jump out of that water and jump up and look at me. And I got the hell out of there. And Laura looked at me and said, what, you didn't think there were snakes in this water? I said, I didn't know they would jump up and look at you. I don't mind them being in the water. Just stay away from me.
No reason to be afraid of snakes, Tony B. They're your friend.
I don't like spiders and snakes. Boom, boom, boom. All right, so senior night was last night for some. It's Saturday for some. Tennessee's going to have a senior. How many seniors, Brian, on this year's team? Off the top of your head. That's the point. Back in the day, you could list them.
Para for sure.
Back in the day, you could list them. Back in the day, you'd rattle them right off. Check this out. This is a crazy number. This is what we've done to major college basketball. Okay. And it's a shame. Because when I talk to athletes of yesteryear, one of the things that we talk about is how these kids aren't going to have a home 30 years from now. They're going to have 4 homes, which means they have no home. You know? It's kind of sad. So, 16 teams in the league, okay? How many scholarship players, Cinco, in the Southeastern Conference will celebrate senior night this week having played at just one school? Let me ask that one more time. How many scholarship players in the Southeastern Conference will celebrate senior night this week having played at just one school, Sean? There are roughly 15 guys on 16 rosters. which is however many guys that is. What would you say the number is? What would you say the number is?
Well, 16 into 4, carry the 3. I'm going to say 5.
The number is 1 player.
Wow.
A player from Mississippi State by the name of Sean Jones Jr. He's the only SEC senior. Come on, baby, finish what you started. I'm incomplete. So a kid from Mississippi State's the only guy. And the numbers are simply staggering. It's not just an SEC thing either, although the SEC is last in this. Because if anybody's going to do it and really do it, it's going to be us to excess. Like, read us any rule, we'll break it. You know, we're going to do that. Give us any chance, we'll take it. I mean, that's just who this league is, who it's always been down through the years.
A Laverne and Shirley reference.
Shamio Shamazo. Speaking of
That's
which, they were in Wisconsin. That's Big Ten territory. Brian, 18 teams in the Big Ten this week. How many Big Ten basketball players do you think are going to finish their career at the same place they started? This is the Big Ten now. This is the high-minded. We are all about education. We are better than you. We know the drill. Benny Hill, hit it.
I'll say more than 1, but less than, I'll say somewhere around 10.
It's 10. Cinco, do we at all consider what we're doing to these kids in this era? We're enriching them, but at what cost? We're enriching you. This Collins kid's going to play 5 schools in 5 years. And I want to remind everybody listening, nobody ever talks about something flunking out of school anymore. When's the last time we've ever heard about an APR? When's the last time we ever heard about somebody being in academic trouble? Sean, is that even a thing anymore? When's the last time you heard about it, Sean?
I haven't heard about it forever, but I'll say this: no one's making these kids go for bigger offers. It's
Yep.
You say, what are we doing to these kids? I ask the kids and their entourages to look in the mirror. They're the ones that are going to have to live with this later on. Look, for the young people, money comes and goes. Memories don't.
Amen
Families
to that.
don't.
Amen to that. You know what I've often heard, which is a great thing for all of us to think about no matter where we are in life, but nobody on their deathbed says, bring me my bank book, I want to look at it. They have their friends around them. They have their family around them. They're reminiscing about their journey. They're telling stories. Like when my father was there at 92, body broken down, into his run, he wanted to get up and walk out of the room and he couldn't stand up. That's the kind of will this crazy Italian had. But
here's another part of for the young people. No one ever talks about grade point averages. No one ever talks about class ranks or anything. Everyone, I've got daughters in their 20s. Calm down. It's about do your best. It's about memories. Everything is about memories and the connections you make.
I told my daughter when she was in school, let the air out and get a B. She was like an A student, would sit there and literally in our house would sit there. Everything was online, so your grades. And they would update them all the time, which only augments the stress on these kids, you educators out there putting stuff online. So it just augments the pressure. Her mother and I looked there and said, hey, kid, get a B. Let the air out, man. Let the air out. You can let the air out. Back to where we are here. So Tiger Mom, I was not in, I was never turning Chinese. Anthony had some kids in school at Penn. A bunch of Asian kids and a bunch of Jewish kids went to school with him. And they would say, I'm going straight Asian on this test, which means I'm locking myself in my room and I'm going in lockdown mode and I'm going for it. And his kids called it straight Asian. It's very next level. Moving along. The Big 12, Cinco, with their 9. How many teams in the Big 12 now, Brad? They have 12? I can't keep track.
I think they have 16.
16 teams, all right? How many
I
kids?
think 16, yes.
How many seniors celebrating
They've
senior
never
night?
had 12. It's been a while since they've had 12.
We're doing a little fun here for senior night. How many kids on senior nights? How many seniors, Brian? Guys that, again, I'm going to read this.
At one school for 4 or 5 years.
I'm going to read this again. I'm going to read this again. Players who have celebrating senior night either last night, tonight, or Saturday, having played at just one college. And your Lone Ranger, ladies and gentlemen, Night Ranger, is Mississippi State's Sean Jones Jr. Only SEC senior to finish where he started. Rick Barnes doesn't have one player, scholarship player, that finished where he started. And Matt Dixon and I talk about this. These guys come and go so quickly, half the time you don't even remember their names.
Well,
you'll see
ZZ and Jemai Mashak were 2 of them last year.
There you go.
That did.
There you go. And Brian,
So
I guarantee you,
in the entire league.
In the entire league. Yep. That's how rare that was last year. That's right. The days of the ZZ Stops of the world, there's a lot more Tobey Awakas out there, obviously, than ZZ Stops. But let's move along. There are in the Big Ten are how many, Brian? What do you think? That's a high-minded league.
The Big 12.
Big 12. Big 10 has 10.
I'll say there's about 5.
5. I don't know how Brian's doing this. All right, Cinco, in the Big East, bunch of Catholic schools. These are, loyal people. The newly reformed Big East, bunch of Catholic schools up there. How many, Cinco? What do you think?
Well, I thought I was on it with 5, so I've been shown to be a fool again, so I'm going to go 3.
3 is right. Fool if you think it's over, so do I. And then finally, the high-minded of all high-minded, the league that gave us the college inside of the college, also known as University of North Carolina, where Dean Smith and also Royce A. Tung presided over an absolute farce for all those years, faculent, fraudulent, moving left to right across your radio dial, Coach K, and he hated one and dones till he did it. He hated the halfway house that Calipari had till he signed up for it. Because he is a fake and a fraud and a fraud and a fake. And that's a PHAKE and an FAKE all at once. So the ACC, Sean, which is better than you and better than me,
yep.
How many guys in the ACC? What do y'all think? Got to be
6.
A high number, right? Got to be like 6, 7, 9. Probably more than the Big Ten.
You got the Dukes of the world. You got the Wake Forest of the world.
Yes, you got the Johnny Bahama.
Georgia Tech.
Yep.
I'll go like 15.
The number is 3. There are a total across the 5 what we call power leagues: Big 10, Big 12, Big East, ACC, Southeastern Conference, 22 high major scholarship. I'm not talking about, your son and my son sitting on the end of the bench. No offense to your son and my son. But that ain't what we're talking about here. Those guys that you would have on a roster to kind of Cinco back in the day to drive up the GPAs. I used to love that. They would count them in the GPAs. Now nobody cares about GPAs. They don't care about APR rankings. They don't care about development of these people as people. I mean, they just don't care. So check this out. Across the Big 10, Big 12, Big East, ACC, and SEC, there are 22 high major scholarship players celebrating senior night who have played at just one place. And the Lone Ranger in this league, while Tennessee had 2 on the roster last year, is Mississippi Mistake Sean Jones Jr., who you couldn't find with a search warrant. So here's the deal. Here's the deal. As a sports fan, and I'm asking you, I'm going to ask Brian, I'm going to ask Sean this. I'm asking you. Food for thought here. Do you care? Does it bother you?
To be honest, I don't think much about it.
Sean, do you care that it's so transient now, these sports we watch?
No, because I think it's that side of the coin, you have this problem. The other side of the coin, you get quick fixes. You can have instant turnarounds. You can have which I think is a great thing, is your University of Indiana turnaround.
Yep.
So it's just the cost of doing business.
I'll argue that college basketball is as good right now as it's been in a long, long time from a product standpoint. Now, here's another thing I want to talk about, since we're in the NIL era. Should you have, and this is the problem of the NIL era, is that it's all nebulous. I call it unprofessional sports because that's what it is. But in most leagues you're in most leagues, these leagues that, are real leagues. Like, these aren't leagues. These are loose affiliations of teams playing by different rules. That's what the NIL era is. Not bound by anything, except maybe a schedule. Then they play the games. But they're not bound by the same rules. They're not, like in football, they're not drug tested. I mean, anything can happen. You can do anything you want to do. We saw, even within leagues, like we saw Miami steal a player right off Duke's team. Duke's over there. Duke basically is a feeder team for the Miami Hurricanes now. And it isn't even like in the 50s and 60s when it was the Kansas City A's, which is where they got Roger Maris, the Yankees did. It isn't even like the Kansas City A's being the farm team, nod, nod, wink, wink of the Yankees. This is, you have a guy on your roster, and I know, you have a multi-year deal with him. I know, we get it. I'm just going to take him from you. Why? Because I don't care about being in the ACC. I could care less about that. And by the way, I don't care about you. I only care about me. Right? I mean, Sean, that's where we are, right? And so I think it's highly entertaining. It's got to be having a deleterious impact on these kids long term. This is not good. Sean, the Hewitt Pruitts of the world and people like that, okay? How many lifelong friends did you meet during your time in college?
Well, it's I don't know if you say lifelong, but certainly, I've known Hewitt we haven't connected it, but you're one of them.
It's sad.
We met in college.
Right? It's sad.
My best buddy, Todd.
Yep. Todd,
Hewitt,
who I love.
There's several guys.
Yep.
So I'm going to say about, I can reference maybe 10 of those guys, and 3 of them are really good friends. And that's only because we talk a lot. It's not because the other 7 are special.
But the other 7, when you see them, like some of my college friends, when you see them, because I was talking to John Miller about this in the park and his lovely wife, Kristen.
Yeah.
You don't have to see or spend time with those people for the hands of clock to go back. Because you spend that time together and you're right back there. And they know you're busy in your life and you know you're busy in your... Here's the thing. These kids don't have that. These kids are going... This Frankie Collins guy is going right, just traveling through. He played 9 games for Vandy this year. And let me tell you, some fool out there is going to throw a bag at the guy. Some fool coach, though he's not dependable, though he shut it down at Vanderbilt and feigned an injury, some fool out there is going to throw a bag at the guy because he can play. And Vanderbilt, by the way, for Vandy Dandy or whatever your name is, you have no baseball team. You suck. You have a Punch and Judy team. You have no pitching. We are going to beat the absolute hell out you on the diamond. Shout out, Vandy. But you have none. You're so high-minded that you have 0.
We're going to sweep you guys.
You have, and by the way, Saturday night, native men or no native men, after I saw my man last night, Estrella, like a house of fire, create love desire, taking you higher and higher. I mean, you got to get out of my face, man. You think you're coming in here on senior night? You think you're coming in our gym? This ain't Kim Caldwell basketball, brah.
How about Estrella being like Kevin McHale Jr.?
Exactly.
If you don't know about Kevin McHale, young people, go back and look at him. He was awesome.
Let me tell you something about this Vanderbilt bunch. When you lay with dogs, you get fleas. And that Frankie Collins guy is a dog. And today, VD needs more than penicillin. Vandy Dandy. Or Daddy, whatever his name. We call him VD for short. He's one of our flies in the ointment over on YouTube, which is a great place to see the show. Check out the show, consume the show. If you watch it live, you get to see all the comments. And there are some real comedians in there, but there's a lot of good stuff in there as well. Cinco, well, let's do this. I got to get a brief timeout. I want to get into some baseball. I want to get into some football. Watson Brown's going to join us, presented by our friends at Simpson's Meats. By the way, we're live Friday at Calhoun's on the River. There is a baseball game this afternoon. I'm excited. I'm fired up. I'm focused, and I'm prepared for that. The Vols won 7-1 last night. Brian, how concerned are we right now about Carlin Pickett's shoulder? How concerned are we, Brian?
Until something's come out and said, I think you do have to be concerned.
No question. That's not a good sign. She threw 11 pitches.
They built some pitching depth,
yep.
But the ceiling, the national championship ceiling is lower if Pickens is unable to return. They can still be pretty good.
Yep.
With what they have other than her.
Doug Shoulders says, I'm a Vandy fan over here on YouTube. He says, but I love you, Tony. Listen, Doug, I love you too. And I also love Tim Corbin's crash helmet. As we continue with more after this. When it's time for your next move, you want to get your precious belongings from point A to point B with your peace of mind intact. That's why you need to call my friends at Gufon Moving and Storage, East Tennessee's moving legend. Gufon Moving and Storage has been helping East Tennesseans move since 1887. That's 138 years. 5 generations. That's even longer than the Dooley, Jones, and Pruitt era combined. Gufon Moving and Storage, pro movers, serving Knoxville, surrounding areas, and interstate moves too, both residential and commercial. And we'll provide you with personalized service that other corporate movers simply cannot. We know how to move all types of items. We pay careful attention to our clients' valuables. Your satisfaction as a customer is our absolute priority. As the oldest continually owned and operated family moving business in the United States, when it's time for your next move, it's Gufon Moving and Storage. And storage, it's secure and vaulted. Our newest offering of commercial storage logistics, we offer receiving, storage, and delivery services for all your business logistic needs. See more at Gufon.com. That's Gufon.com, or check out the link at tclub.team. When it's time for your next move, East Tennessee's moving legend, Gufon Moving and Storage. Life never stops moving. And between the 30-minute commutes, daycare pickups, weekly soccer practice, Tuesday night yoga, X number of coffee runs, and that weekend trip to Grandma's, you're racking up the miles. What you need is a tire that can keep up. A tire designed for doers. A tire that's going to last. Like the exceptionally long-lasting Michelin Defender tire. With an 80,000-mile warranty and the safety and comfort you expect, you can forget all about the miles ahead and focus on getting to your destination or conquering your to-do list. Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. That's Fleet Tire, I-275 exit 1B at East Woodland Avenue in Knoxville. Fleet Tire.
Inward Half is committed to the game and the memorable moments that happen in between. From the tee box to the tailgate, from the green to the big game. For the first birdie with Dad, the first big win with Mom. Friday night lights, Saturday superstitions, Sunday traditions. Fall into the comfort and unparalleled performance of Inward Half. This fall, enjoy the walk-in.
Are you tired of hiding your smile because of crooked teeth? At Knoxville Smiles, we've got the perfect solution. Invisalign. No metal, no wires, just clear, comfortable aligners that straighten your teeth without anyone noticing. Eat what you want, smile with confidence, and see results in as little as 6 months. Call us today for more information about Invisalign, 865-539-1776, or just visit us online at knoxvillesmiles.com. Smile brighter with Knoxville Smiles.
Fanrun Radio, where Big Orange Country comes to talk sports. Start your morning off with your daily dose of talk sports with John Reed and Cody McClure from 8 to 11. Then it's Tony Basilio from 11 to 1. The Playbook with William Pattison from 1 to 3. And The Drive from 3 to 6. It's 10 hours of hard-hitting local sports radio every day.
Out-of-town law firms have been swarming into East Tennessee lately. From Memphis, Chattanooga, and Birmingham, they've stormed into the area. Wouldn't you rather do business with a local firm? You know, a true neighbor. Marcos Garza and the pros at the Garza Law Firm are just that. There are neighbors and friends that support local causes year-round. The Garza Law Firm works to serve you professionally on criminal matters, injuries and accident matters, and Social Security and disability filings. The Garza Law Firm is here for you at garzalaw.com. The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Start the new year with comfort and savings from Pipe Wrench Home Services. Tired of high energy bills and constant heating and AC repairs? Ready for a more efficient home? There's never been a better time to upgrade your comfort and take control of your energy costs. Upgrade your HVAC system now with Pipe Wrench Home Services and make no payments until 2027. A new energy-efficient system means lower bills, fewer breakdowns, and peace of mind for years to come. And with Pipe Wrench Home Services same-day service guarantee, you won't wait to start enjoying a more comfortable home. Your comfort isn't just our job, it's our promise. Upgrade your HVAC system now with Pipe Wrench Home Services and make no payments until 2027. Schedule your free estimate today at pipewrench.com. Pipe Wrench Home Services, trusted in Knoxville, Maryville, Oak Ridge, and neighboring communities for over 20 years. Same-day service guaranteed, or the visit is free. Offer good with approved credit. Some restrictions apply. Visit pipewrench.com for details.
Hey, I'm Alan, and we ship floors on Bristol Highway in Johnson City. Are you tired of walking around on that ratty-looking carpet that you have? Well, today's your lucky day, because we have Supercore on sale for $1.79. 58 colors. We're liquidating. Supercore is the best waterproof floor with a lifetime warranty. Where are you going to find that anywhere else? Nowhere, let me tell you. $1.79, lifetime warranty. Come on down to Bristol Highway on your truck and trailer, and let's make a deal.
Gotta love this time of the year. Hoops here, home runs over there, and you've got to get your Tennessee on. And there's only one place, the best place to shop for your officially licensed Tennessee volunteer gear, Alumni Hall. Hands down, the best store for Vol fans. They've got the latest and greatest apparel for the entire family. Hats, man cave items, decor, and more. Get your Vols grill cover, a plate for your burgers, and of course, that chef's apron for all that outdoor grilling this spring. And accrue those rewards and watch your balance grow online or on the app. We'll see you at Alumni Hall and alumnihall.com and G to the B to the O, Alumni Hall. So it's kind of ironic. I was getting ready to shift our focus here on a day where, hey, I don't do low-hanging fruit. We have a cornucopia of things to talk about today. I'm not going to sit here and talk about Danny White's borderline kiss of death for Kim Caldwell when he comes out, feels a need to give her a vote of confidence. I mean, what a strange thing. Brian, is that strange that he would come out and say something? And we're not going to talk about it on here. Brian, is that strange?
It seems like if the real vote of confidence is just not saying anything.
Exactly.
To me.
Exactly.
But he might have been asked. He might have been pressed on it and had to give a response, and that's what he said. I don't know.
Well, especially when the guy makes as many public appearances as the groundhog every year. No.
The guy, you can't find him. There are people that work in the athletic department that he's never said hi to. Like 5 years, 6 years. And then This guy, I'm telling you, Tony, why do you call him the Queen of England? Because he acts like it. Get around the guy. See, unless you're Mr. Haslam, he's King of England. Queen. I'm sorry, my bad. He's a Queen of England, preening around. The Queen of England, I said. All right, but what do I know? I just have the show of record. Several thousand listeners and readers, gaining steam each and every day because we speak truth to power. And I can't, first of all, I didn't understand that hire when he made it. Last year, she did a really nice job. But this thing she's got going on is a, let's see, what would you call it? The word I'd use would be a disaster. Disaster would be my word. By the way, the great Jennifer Morris sent me a nice, beautiful text about our post game last night. Something happened last night in our post game, and I hope the parents were listening right now. We had a chance to interface with two youngsters who went with their dads over to the game last night. One boy, one girl. Both of them around the age of 10, 11, something like that. Both of them really wide-eyed. Both of them had gotten autographs. I was glad to hear that Tennessee came out last night. And they came out and they met with and greeted the fans who had come to the game. That's a really nice touch by Rick Barnes to let his guys go out and do that. And I thought that was a really, truly wonderful thing worth celebrating and worth mentioning on here. Now, let's get back into nonsense. D1 baseball, and by the way, Berkey does a podcast with them along with Mike Rooney. And I'll bet they'll touch on this at some point. Oh, boy. Tennessee's Blaine Brown, they break the story, embroiled in a legal dispute with a Rice-related collective. We just talked about players breaking contracts and signing with other schools, and Mensa did it. Apparently isn't a Mensa member. But Mensa did it to go to Miami. And Blaine Brown is really talented. Yesterday on the mound, he looked really distracted. And I wonder if the fact that this story was about the pop, because generally subjects of stories like this know when they're getting ready to pop. Generally, that's a thing. And I wonder if that's a thing here. This is written by the great Kendall Rogers, who we've had on many times and will have on many times in the future. D1 baseball is great. It's well worth a subscription. He writes the following. It was only a matter of time before an NIL legal dispute arrived in college baseball. And that's now the case. Former Rice standout, current Tennessee two-way talent Blaine Brown embroiled in a legal dispute with the South Main Collective, NIL, that supports Rice, according to documents obtained by D1 Baseball on Tuesday. So they're dropping the knowledge right on D1 Baseball. That collective is. Somebody's sharing with them here. Somebody's sharing and caring alike. And I'm sitting here saying to myself, Cinco, why us? Is that kind of what you're saying to yourself? Why us?
Well, exactly. I mean, we get a negative verdict.
Yep, we get a negative verdict. I got something updating over here. Good gosh almighty. I need Laura back in the studio. This freaking thing's updating. All right, we're going to let it update. Let me read this to you. Brown is 6'5". He's 200 pounds. You know he's ranked the number 5 college prospect for the 2027 Major League Baseball draft. He's a hell of a player. He was making what you call chump change. And Cinco and Bry, this Apple product here is updating. I think I meant to click the no button, and I clicked the yes button, and shame on me. So we'll let this thing do its thing. And in August of 2027, the agreement called for Brown to receive $20,000 his freshman year. Let me back up here. He signed an NIL agreement with the South Main Collective February of his freshman year in 2025, so last February, roughly 13 months ago. The agreement went through August of 2027. Brown is supposed to receive $20,000 his freshman year, with the ability to make upwards of $256,000 during his remaining 2 seasons with the Owls. Total amount of the deal could have reached $345,000 if Brown would have graduated from Rice and fulfilled some incentives, including media appearances, fan engagement, ball signing, and everything. Brown, of course, entered the transfer portal last June, and you know where he ended up. He ended up with Tony Valls, and now he's playing for Josh Elander. Sources close to Brown say they're willing to pay back the money that Brown earned during his freshman year with the Owls. He's making a lot of money here. There's no indication at this point South Main Collective would be willing to accept that resolution, with the arbitration process ongoing. So now, Brown sits with the American Arbitration Association in Houston, and the end result of the process will be binding. South Main Collective, when reached by D1 Baseball, declined to comment. Called it a private matter between 2 parties. You know, here's the thing. The school never wants it to get out that they're suing past athletes, because nobody will go and play for you when you do that. So the school doesn't want that out there. And the whole thing, what we've done here, is kind of a joke. And the whole thing's kind of a farce. And again, I'm back to this. He, yesterday, looked like he was in outer space. Okay? And somebody said, well, this is a nothing burger. No, that's not true. He looked very distracted to me yesterday. And I wonder if this whole thing and this coming out is distracting to that kid. You know? He should turn around, obviously, pay them the money back, which he wants to, but they want to drag him through it. See, that's going to be the new thing these schools are going to do. It's the same way they're treating former coaches now. If I can, I'm not paying a former coach a dime. I agree with that. And if the next coach doesn't like it, because he's afraid when he fails at my job that he ain't going to get his failure money, then so be it. I don't want somebody thinking about failure money. But these athletes, you know, a listener told me yesterday that not only is Mississippi, and this all goes back to kissing the tail of these people, in a world without end, amen. I mean, it never ends. The tail kissing of the college athlete today never, and I mean ever, and I mean ever ends. As in never, ever, ever. Georgia's now doing a deal where, though they are an income tax state, they want to freeze all income. something Kirby Smart and a measure that Kirby Smart has introduced. They don't like the competitive advantage that states like Tennessee and Georgia have over them. So we just won't make student athletes. We won't make these athletes playing college sports pay income tax. When does it end? And look, I'm consistent in my views. I don't think you and I should be building stadiums for people. I don't think that's right. I don't think we should be building stadiums for billionaires. I don't care what happens in the stadium. I don't care what the sports mean to your society and my society. Hey, Brian, that Apple product is updating right now. I'll come back to you, okay, after it's done. Thanks. But I don't personally. Who's getting soaked in all this? I was on with George Plaster yesterday, and the topic came up that there are a bunch of power conference schools losing millions and millions of dollars a year. Where's all the money going? Where's all the money going? You know who gets soaked at the end of this? You get soaked. No matter who you cheer for, you get soaked. And that's the bottom line. And the truth is, Danny White's making too much money. Tennessee's over there got too many people employed. It's way bloated. There are too many people employed by these basketball teams, football teams. Way too much. Watson Brown said, there has never been, and I mean ever been, an easier time. Hey, Brian, the Apple product's updating. I'll come right to you. Yeah, thank you. Never been, and I mean ever been, an easier time to be a head football coach. Those guys don't do anything anymore. And they're making huge coin. Huge coin. And so I say this to say this. The Blaine Brown thing, yeah, it's, in the overall scheme of things, it's a nothing burger. But what it shows you is, if I'm going to go after a baseball player, I'm going to start scratching back. On whatever it is I'm scratching back on. These programs and these teams are tired of it. They're losing money. Everybody's losing money. I mean, it's a shame. It really is a shame. This whole thing is it's sad, really. You have, are you ready for this? You have zero, count them, zero across the league. Players that have stayed and have been here all this time. Zero. One player from Mississippi State. What are we doing to these sports? Can somebody please tell me what we're doing to these sports? For the life of me, I don't understand it. I mean, I just don't, for the life of me, understand it. It's unbelievable, Andy. This Apple device, I'm trying to get back into Cinco and Brian, and I'm trying to talk here, and it is urinating me off profusely. So, but I do enjoy. I want you to know that I really do enjoy technology. and all that comes with it. And this Apple product is making me, re-sign up for a password in real time while I'm talking to you. It's making me agree, I don't know, lifetime of dance lessons. I have no idea what I just signed up for. But Laura is driving down the road right now having a conniption fit. But I just think now it's asking me if I want Apple Pay. I don't want that. I don't want to share my analytics with you. I don't really care about this damn update, Skip. I mean, good gosh almighty. And it's writing welcome in cursive across our deal. But this is, and I'm kind of hypocritical because I don't care. I'm not, at the end of the day, I'm not, I like the entertainment aspect of this. I'm down for the entertainment. But think about this. The days of growing a Grant Williams in Knoxville, those days are long, long gone, baby doll. And Brian Hartman, doesn't that stink? Think about that. The days of, and Admiral Schofield, Brad, was he a 5-year player here, or was I imagining things, or a 4-year player? He was here for a long, long time, right?
Him and Lamonte Turner,
there
both of them.
Those days are gone. 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 And those kids met Nate and Ment the other night, last night. And they met Jacoby Gillespie. He was out there, and I think there was somebody else out there.
Jacoby and Akpara are both seniors, but they started out at Belmont, Maryland, and Ohio State, respectively.
And South Carolina had a kid going through senior night last night. I think who didn't he start at South Carolina, went to Ohio State, went back to South Carolina, went back to Ohio State, went back to South Carolina?
Yeah, he's their best player.
Yeah.
And when your best player has flipped back and forth between two schools his entire career, that doesn't speak much about what your team's going to look like his senior year.
Yeah, I don't like this thing now where Georgia and Mississippi are saying to these players, no state income tax, when everybody else in the states are paying state income. It's not teaching those kids anything, except that you're special. Rules don't apply to you. Laws don't apply to you. That's really good. That's a great thing to set these kids. That's a really... How many more ways can we kiss their asses? Just asking for a friend. What else is next? Do we go to like the real estate people in town and say, hey, waive all fees? Do we go to the builders and say, hey, build them a brand new house? Because just do it. You need to just do it. Because they're a special basketball player, football player, and we want to win. I mean, when does this end? What are we doing? What have we done here? And by the way, I love the sports. Football's incredible right now. The Indiana story is nuts. The whole thing's flipped upside down. Everything I believed about it for 30 years is gone. It's like having to retrain yourself. And Cinco Rice, good old Uncle Ben, is playing hardball with maybe Tennessee's most talented baseball player if you look at the draft projections.
They'll get worked out.
Oh, yeah, they'll get it worked out. It's so sad, man. So sad.
It's just a mess. The whole thing's a mess. It didn't have to be this way. It's the crocodile tears of the NCAA and the administrators are just hilarious.
Yep. You're right, my man. He's telling the truth. Cinco is coming 100 right at you on your radio dial. And we're fired up, folks, and prepared with you. And we're pumped. And this is a beautiful thing. So let's, without further ado, before we get to Great Watson Brown in here, who comes up on the other side, we do have somebody that wants to talk. And you know what? This is the geophysical year that we all are only in March. But we're in our third month of what we've proclaimed here is the geophysical year of the caller. Those that have just found the show, that is something that we live by. Callers come first here. They always have, and they always will. So let's go to the phones and get our next call in. Hello and welcome on the geophysical year of the caller. You're on the air.
How you doing, Tony?
Brian, you and that freaking geophysical year of the caller. Hey, Bill, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing just fine. Let me take you off speaker here.
Okay,
can you hear me?
And the geophysical year of the caller. Go ahead.
Okay, Tony, if there's any way I can compare the Lady Fall Season 2, it would be Titanic and Mutiny on the Bounty. Because right now, the Lady Fall basketball team just hit an iceberg. And it's sinking like the Titanic, and Kim Caldwell is in it.
Brian, 1 to 10 right now. What's your confidence level that Kim Caldwell can get this thing back on track, Brian? What's your confidence level, Brian?
Probably about a 4.
Yep.
That might be generous.
I agree with that. I give her a shot. Look, you got next year to flip that roster. And the problem with her, though, is that she's got to bring in – you can't just go for talent. You've got to go for what Barnes does. And I don't know if she knows how to do that, because she took a bunch of high-risk kids this year, and they just blew up on her. There's a reason talented players – there's a reason – look, I'm not knocking that Cooper kid, okay? But I've kind of immersed myself in this the last, 5 weeks when I saw they were a train wreck. If that Cooper kid could really play, would Dawn Staley at South Carolina have let her go, Bry? I mean, let's think about that.
If she wasn't a headache, it could play.
Let me help you out. Let me help you out. The answer is no. If she really was worth having and keeping, and because she wouldn't let a talented player, and the young lady's talented. There's no doubt. The kid they got from Los Angeles, the Barker kid. Extremely talented.
Had to be suspended for a game, had to be left home due to disciplinary
The
issues
backstory on that, again, I mean, I hate to tell folks, but I dug in on that. The backstory on that's not good. That doesn't speak to a head coach that's got the, shall we say, the respect of her team. Let's put it that way. What happened there? Not good. Not good. This feels like, and I'm not knocking Kim Caldwell, but it feels like she's in over her head.
Tony, she's become another Captain Bly. That's Kim Caldwell. Are you there?
Captain Bly?
Yeah, Captain Bly. Because one player, I believe, abandoned ship, quit the team.
I want to talk to Watson Brown about that. She quit because she thinks she got disrespected on senior day. Cinco, do you think asking a young lady to go in 15 seconds left in a blowout game is disrespectful toward her on senior day when you didn't put her out there to begin with, which is the custom some people have? Apparently not Kim Caldwell.
Yeah, I think it is. It ranks up there with the nonsense that Bruce Pearl did with Ryan Childress.
Oh, that was sad, man. I agree with that. You know, I was trying to remember
that was 100% personal.
I love the chill. The chill. The chill. The chill. Billy, you're my man.
Okay, buddy.
Billy,
yeah,
go ahead, Billy.
Okay, before I leave you here, I got a call from our buddy Tom. He said he does not want me singing on your show. So I told him I'm not going to do it.
Billy, I just saw a great thing today on Glenn Campbell. You realize...
Can he do the tomahawk chop, though?
No, hang on.
Will he allow you to do that?
Billy, do you realize that when they recorded, when he was with the Wrecking Crew, and they recorded Strangers in the Night, okay? Do you realize those guys did that in one take?
Ah. Interesting.
Yeah. One take.
Ooh.
Can you sing me a little bit of... Because I've always been an affinity for Strangers in the Night, simply because Jimi Hendrix, when he played at Monterey, when he came back over as a conquering hero across the Atlantic, and John Phillips of the Mamas and the Papas had put on the Monterey Pop Festival, and it was an unveiling of Jimi Hendrix Experience. In the middle of Like a Rolling Stone by obviously the Dylan tune.
Bob Dylan.
Yeah, he did Strangers in the Night in the middle of his solo. No. He did Strangers in the Night in the middle of Wild Thing. My bad. Bow, now. Bow, now. Because in Like a Rolling Stone, he said, yeah, I know Mr. Verse, don't worry. He kind of sung his own. He kind of did his own version of it.
Okay, Tony. Before I do that, hey, Tom, shut your radio off.
No, shut your mouth, Tom. Hey, Tom.
Yeah.
Tom, I'll host and you'll decide. You're another one, Tom, that needs hard coaching. You're up there with Nega Dave and Joshy Boy. Joshy Boy's out here having a snit fit. Nega Dave, I've got extra grit. Sean, what's the highest grit sandpaper you can have? You're a woodworker, Sean. My hair used to look like it.
I don't know about that. The only woodworking I do is on my guitar neck, my man.
And what kind of sandpaper you use? What's the grit? Do you know the grit?
I don't know. I get a multi-pack and just go through the line.
There you go.
I'm not an expert on that. Have
you ever heard the Hendrix at Monterey record, Cinco?
Yeah. Oh, I love me some Jimi Hendrix. He's not the greatest guitar player ever because he's an alien.
Exactly. He's the first guy to take the instrument and do that.
He's not human. You don't get to count him because he's not human.
I saw an interview one time with the man who invented the electric guitar, and he said he popped his head in Cafe Wah one day, and he said, and I come around the corner and there's this kid up there playing, and he's just by himself. He said, and I've never, ever, ever conceived that instrument, the electric guitar could be used in the way it was being used.
Well, didn't he after the Army, didn't he play with Little Richard?
Yeah, he sure did. Played with Little Richard. Yeah.
Little Richard told him to tone it down, bro.
Yes.
I'm the number.
Yeah.
I'm the guy on this stage.
Yep. And then he played on the Chitlin Circuit, Titans-Bill, with none other than the Isley Brothers. And that's why, Bill, you're in honor of him going to do A Little Stranger in the Night. Hit it.
Okay.
A Red House.
Strangers in the night, two lonely people. I'll just do this Scooby-Dooby-Doo.
Bill, you're out of here.
You're listening to FM 105.7 and AM 1340. WKGN Knoxville and W289CU Knoxville. Fanrun Radio.
It's the hottest post-game show on the planet. Garza Law. Fifth quarter fan reaction. Fan reaction. As soon as the final gun sounds, we're live.
When it's time for a fresh coat of paint, run, don't walk to Walker's Painting. Interior and exterior, Walker's Painting's been making it beautiful since 1999 across the Knoxville area. New construction, repaints, commercial, residential, free estimates available. And get this, mention you heard Walker's Painting on the Basilio Show, 10% off your first job. Let's go! Run, don't walk to Walker's Painting. 865-688-1410. That's 865-688-1410. Walker's Painting, making it beautiful since 1999. Check out the ad at the blog at tclub.team. Walker's Painting.
Hi, I'm Jim Simpson, owner of Simpson Meats. When's the last time you grilled a really good burger or steak? One your friends still talk about. Our goal at Simpson Meats is to make that happen every time you have a cookout. All of our cuts of meats, steaks, burgers, briskets, and pork are always fresh, flavorful, and sustainably sourced. We are family owned, so we know the importance of knowing how and where your food is raised. We have been putting quality first since 1888. Visit our butcher shop off Lovell Road or online at simpsonmeats.com.
Okay, so we really need uniforms and equipment for this season. Can I trust you with that? Cool, I'll just order them online. What? Yeah, I'm going to hop online and I'm going to get them ordered. Hold up, that's not a good idea. We shouldn't just spend money on some random online retailer, okay? I mean, it seems pretty convenient. Trust me, it's a terrible idea. Let me simplify this for you. SM Athletics. Okay, how do you pronounce it? SM Athletics? They're the go-to for uniforms and equipment, whether it's for universities, high schools, youth leagues, you name it. So why wouldn't you rather go with professionals who can guide us through the process, design the perfect uniforms, and deliver the best equipment? Yeah, I guess that makes sense. What's the name again? SM Athletics. Right. It's definitely smarter to go with a company that emphasizes customer service, fair pricing, and, of course, excellent products. Exactly. So, yeah, I guess it's settled then. For uniforms and equipment for all sports, it's SM Athletics.
When a dangerous, overgrown, or storm-damaged tree is threatening your home, your car, or your family, don't risk it. Call ECR Total Landscapes, your local tree-cutting experts. From precision tree removal and trimming to emergency storm cleanup, ECR Total Landscapes has the equipment and the experience to get the job done safely and efficiently. Call today to set up your free estimate, 865-384-2012, or just go online to ecrtotallandscapes.com.
Josh Collins at Collins Insurance Agency. At Collins Insurance, we strive to ensure our customers receive better coverage along with bigger savings. Our community is important to us. We want to provide exceptional service to our customers. Anybody can provide great rates, great coverage, but can you also get great service? And hey, don't just take my word for it.
What's up, everybody? Zakai Ziegler here. My family turns to Collins Insurance Agency for the best service, coverage, and price.
So don't just go online and get some random insurance. Experience the Collins Insurance difference.
Like he said, experience the Collins Insurance difference. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. And hey, their Mama ZZ approved. CollinsInsuranceTN.com. Thank you to Josh Collins and ZZ.
One more thing, Tony. Go Vols.
Yee-haw! I've been hooting and hollering ever since I started betting with the VIP Play app. VIP Play has more than 200 leagues, every bet type you can imagine, live betting and live hosts, all with 24/7 support from real live people when you need them. Start betting better with the VIP Play app today.
Don't be a better, be a better with VIP Play today.
VIP Play coming soon. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789. Must be 21 plus and located in Tennessee to bet.
Chilio here, and you know my friends at Carnes Motor Company started with a dream over a quarter century ago. I met Rob and Brian back when I still had hair, and they were working at a huge dealership in West Knoxville. But they told me back then they wanted to sell cars on their terms, and I wanted to do radio on my terms. Their terms, just like my terms, are ultimately your terms. In both cases, you're the winner. A Car Guru's National Award winner with a 5-star rating on all sites, just like our Vols. Everything about buying a car from Carnes Motor Company is no hassle. They specialize in high-quality pre-owned vehicles between the $5,000 to $25,000 range. And if you need to sell a car, they'll either buy your car or they'll help you sell it. Carnes Motor Company also has a top-notch service department. Therefore, every vehicle is rigorously inspected and serviced prior to delivery. So you're guaranteed to get a quality pre-owned vehicle every time. If you need a place for service, they've got you covered. Come be a part of the Carnes Motor Company family and tell them you heard about it from me. Online at carnesmotor.com, Oak Ridge Highway, 1 mile past the Carnes light. Carnes Motor Company.
From the sunrise over the Smokies to the Saturday cheers at Neyland Stadium, Knoxville isn't just where we live, it's home. But let's be honest. Finding your perfect spot in a hot market can feel like a full-time job. Whether you're looking for a Craftsman in 4th and Gill, a family home in Farragut, or a view in South Knox, the market moves fast. You need more than a listing. You need an edge. And that's where I come in, Jennifer Morris with Keller Williams Realty. And I specialize in helping Knoxville buyers win. I don't just find houses, I find the right fit for your budget and your lifestyle. Ready to unlock your front door? Visit nextmovesmokymountains.com or call me at 865-694-5904. That's nextmovesmokymountains.com. And as always, go Vols.
On air love, ladies and gentlemen. On air love with a guy we love. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for all of us to go under wing. And go under wing of a guy that's been in major college sports for, 50-plus years. Been around it. Last week said that his brother Mac said, hey, some guy walked up to me and said, hey, I'd listened to your brother on the radio. It's like, oh, cool. But the great Watson Brown now joins. And you bow your head when it's a Wednesday with Watson. And Watson, if you tell me we got to cut this thing short because you have a tea time coming up in 10 minutes presented by Simpson's Meats, I'll respect you in the morning, my brother, because it is beautiful outside right now. And this is what we call living in the state of Tennessee, Watson, what it's all about, my good friend.
Yes, it is. And if you don't like it, just wait a day. You'll get something different usually.
Amen to that. As the great Watson Brown joins, and he the greatest. Our friends at Simpson's Meat since 1888, making it happen with you, whether it's steaks, burgers, sausages, roast chicken. They raise and source their meat from farms on pasture, on purpose, no hormones, none of that stuff. I mean, and you will taste the difference. You talk about one bite, says it all. You talk about love at first bite. Simpson's Meats, ladies and germs, boys and girls and chillins of all ages. Watson Brown, you and I were talking off the air. I'm going to give you a little quiz here, and we're going to go quickly through this because the audience has already heard the quiz, and I don't want to bore anybody. But suffice it to say that to say major college sports have issues right now would be redundant. But I want to just burn this into and several people have just joined. So this is good. This is a good thing for everybody involved to kind of get with, because we just saw in the last little bit, and what I mean by the last little bit is we just saw two players here, one at Vanderbilt, who's going to be working on 5 teams in 5 years, Frankie Collins, who played his 9th game and then basically didn't play again for that coach, even though his team was unbeaten at the time. And they were one of the great stories in college football, and the check cleared. And they're paying him. They bought him off a roster last year, as Watson kind of chuckles at that. Watson, listen to what we've done to major college sports. You ready for this? SEC is a 16-team league. How many players, Watson, would you say, are going to celebrate senior night this week having played at just one school in the 16-team men's SEC basketball? Watson, what would you think that number would be? Scholarship players, Watson. Scholarship players.
If you have 5 seniors, I'd say 1.
So 16?
Yeah.
How about one player, Watson? A kid from Mississippi State.
One player.
One player.
Ooh, you shocked me with that one. Even worse than I thought.
In the Big Ten, Watson, 10 total players across their 18 teams will have begun and finished with the same program. In the Big 12, 5 players. In the Big East, that consortium of Catholic schools, 3 players. In the Atlantic Coast Conference, which is allegedly all about academics and all this high-minded stuff, Watson, 3 players will begin and finish scholarship players at the same school. Now, I will lay this before your feet and say to you, what in the hell are we doing?
Well, it's not good. And we've been, gosh, Tony, I've been on with you now maybe 2 years, I guess. And we've talked this so many times, and now we're getting proof in the pudding. Right there it is. That's proof in the pudding that these kids are not staying at a school in pride of that university the way that we've watched it, and we're so proud of it. And whoever's university, I didn't care whose it was. You cared about, as I always said, because of being a football coach, you cared about what was on the side of that helmet. It meant something to you. And it's obvious now that it's just a different world that I don't know that I would want to deal with.
So I asked that against the backdrop that Kim Caldwell's having a rough go of it. She's a young coach. I mean, this happens. She's either going to adjust or she's going to get swallowed. It's sort of the way all this stuff goes. She gets up yesterday after losing all these games. And Kyle Wynn, reserve guard on the women's basketball team, quit yesterday and then went public and said she's leaving the program, calling what she felt was a slight on senior day. And this was picked up by tons of newspapers across the country because it just doesn't happen the way this has happened. And she goes out publicly. She didn't play in Sunday's game, which was a senior day deal. She played in 9 games this season after missing all of the 24-25 season because she had an Achilles tendon injury. She spent 5 years with the program, Watson, and she did play for the Lady Vols in the past. Her mother went on social media the other day and went crazy on the head coach for disrespecting her daughter, not playing her. And this young lady says that with 15 seconds left in the game, she was asked to go in the game. Watson, back in the day, the protocol used to be, when somebody was with you for all those years, that on senior night you would give them an obligatory start, and then you would take, on their last game, you would start them, and then you would, take a timeout and put the starters in the game. Watson, they don't do that anymore.
No, and they did that more in basketball. You wouldn't even know it in football. So many are going in and out of the game. But the key to me through all my 32 years as a head coach, Tony, that I think back about the way I did it, I think the key is communicating with them before it gets to that point. And here's what we're going to do. I want your parents in here. We're going to do it this way. I'll start you. I'll put you in. You will play a minute, or I don't do it that way. And then you have a consistency to it. Is what I look back and what it did. You don't want one of your seniors surprised with something, and that would be the mistake that if I see a mistake, because her policy may not be that. I don't know what she did in the first year with seniors that she was there, and this is her second team. But I just think communication is the total key to that. And a lot of times I would talk to every parent, or the dominant parent that was around the most, either a dad or a mom, and say, here's what we're going to do. We appreciate you.
Yep.
And that to me is more important than did you start the game? Did you play in the game at some point? It's just communication is the key. And that is sad because it is a young lady that's been there 5 years, as you say. How many of those did she have? 4 or 5? I can't remember. I saw the picture.
Yeah, she had a bunch
of those. Yeah. How many of those have been in the program? I think more there than in most places, if that's the case.
Yeah, I think.
Didn't Spearman play the whole time there?
I think that's right. Women's ball.
So
here's the thing about.
She may have had more there than most schools have right now.
Women's ball, they don't jump around like they do on the men's side, and then the men's side, they are starting to.
They're
Amen to that. Because they're getting money. Amen to that. They've got budgets. Yep.
Yeah. They're getting money now.
And that's the thing. I was just thinking about, and so you say one thing a young coach would probably have to learn, probably a learning experience for her, is you do have to manage these expectations. So obviously that's a cross signal there. That young lady, that Wynn lady, because she went on to say, Wynn did, in her goodbye to UT fans, she said, look, I'm of this program. I love this program. I'm for this program. She said she turned to me with 15 seconds left in a blowout game and said, go in. She said, I didn't want my career to end like that. She said, I'm not going in for 15 seconds. She found that insulting. From a player perspective, is she right? Or if a coach turns to you and says, go in the game, you should go in, Watson. Where are you?
I think it goes back to knowing what was going to happen prior. When you're surprised with something, that's usually not a good situation. I didn't play, just like her. I got injured and never played again in my junior year after 3 games, and very well thought of guy, a preseason All-American, blah, 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 and never played again after the 3rd game. And my coaches came to me and says, Coach, Watson, we'd like to just stick you in so everybody can give you a hand somewhere in the game. Mm-hmm. Would you do that? And I said, yeah, I'll be glad to do that. I think I played 2 plays, something like that. And so if it's set up prior, I go back to that. I think that's the key to the whole thing. When you haven't communicated with parents, and football, it's a lot even more. I might have 20 seniors at some point. I tried to communicate with everybody, and while the X's and O's were being done in the back room that week or the week prior or whatever, an open week, we always, like I take Vanderbilt, we usually had an open date before we played Tennessee. If it was a home game, I can remember calling a lot of the parents, talking to the seniors in that week, and say, here's what we're going to do, and here's how we'll handle you, and then try to catch every parent. I'll admit I didn't always catch every parent, but I tried to do that. I think it's a mistake if the kid, and you say, let your parents know, that's not used. Sometimes it don't come out the way it's supposed to if you run it through the kid. So I just think that's it, and she'll learn from that. She didn't mean any harm. I promise.
No way.
I promise.
She wasn't trying to embarrass that kid. There's no way.
And she'll comment on it, I'm sure, but
no.
And it would hurt her that this happened.
Yes.
She might not say that, but it will, and she'll learn from it. I'm telling you, she'll learn from it.
I think the whole thing is kind of sad. Here's another aspect. So that's probably a coach, sort of learning on the job, if you will. Yes. Here's another one. You coach all those years. How you handle this, Watson? You tell me. Hey, this Byington guy at Vanderbilt's a very talented young coach. Very talented. Very good hire. Frankie Collins. We had a gentleman on that covers Vanderbilt a couple weeks back who's got a website called Southeastern 16. I'm sure you're familiar with him. He's a wonderful guy. At any rate, he tells me in the middle of the conversation, he said, have you heard about this Frankie Collins guy? And I'm like, no, not really. I'm not following Vanderbilt basketball day in and day out. He goes, well, he played his 9th basketball game and then came down with like an injury. And he said it, came down with it. And it's a really not well-kept secret around the program that this guy basically is sitting out. This is Frankie Collins. He is 24 years old right now, Watson. So he just turned 24. He has played for Michigan, Arizona State, TCU, and Vanderbilt. And somebody got in Frankie's ear and said, hey, if you only play 9 games there at Vanderbilt, you're going to be able to go somewhere and play next year. Get that bag, man. Get some more of that college money that these schools can't wait to spend as they spend themselves into oblivion. More on that here in a little bit. You and I were talking about that off the air. But Watson, you're the head coach of that basketball team. This guy's played 9 games for you. You're off to an unbeaten start. He's a reason why. You had those early season wins that helped build that resume. And finally, they parted ways with him yesterday after it just lingering, like Sean Sinclair knows, like a toothache, just back there gnawing, just kind of in the background. just back there gnawing on you. How do you handle that as a coach? Should he have gotten rid of this kid earlier, Watson? I mean, he was hoping the kid would come and play for him, but the kid was not going to play more than that 9th game, Watson. He just wasn't going to do it.
I didn't know this story. It's amazing. I hadn't heard this story till you told me this morning before we went on the air. And that one would really get me because that's pure lie. And now what could have happened is they thought he was hurt and waited for him and realized what was going on. I don't know. I do not know this story, but that's ugly. If that's the way it went down, that a guy faked an injury so he can go somewhere else and play another year, that's what we cannot. We've got to find a way, and I think the transfer portal is the key to this. Yep. You've got to go back and not have open transfer portal. The NFL don't do that, Tony.
It's unprofessional sports, Watson.
You sign a contract, you can't go anywhere.
Yep. But these kids have these coaches.
Contract is up, and then you're a free agent. In college football, think about it. You can go every year.
Watson, that
is so crazy.
Why wouldn't Vanderbilt sue that kid for that money, claw that money back from him?
They may.
I would.
They may.
I would take.
I mean, that sounds pretty cut and dry to me.
I mean, Chris Lee.
Again,
Chris Lee. Is Chris Lee in the business of making stuff up? I don't think he is.
No.
He said this is a smoke around this deal, and it was a loosely kept secret. It's just very convenient that he gets the 9 games and he goes, you know what? I've got a foot injury over here. That's sad, man. That's what we've done here. And I'm gonna tell you something. This is against the backdrop that Mississippi, Georgia, a couple other states are now talking about waiving income taxes for these kids to entice them to play in their state. I mean, what are we doing? Are we that beholden to sports? And I'm saying that if somebody makes my living doing it, to somebody who made his living doing it, Watson, at some point, don't we all have to say, what are we doing here?
Yes. I think behind the scenes, we've been saying that. I've sure been saying that. And it just keeps more and more things pop up now, Tony, that proves our point from a couple of years ago. More and more things. And the transfer portal is an issue. It's got to be fixed. You can transfer once and that's it. You've got to fix this. That's number one. Number two, what I'm seeing is what's on the side of that football helmet does not matter anymore to most of the kids. There are some, but to most of the kids, that university does not matter. And the pride that you have in leaving one, I mean, players have always left, all of us that played. Everyone I've ever talked to, played with, played against, whatever, they always leave feeling like they've laid their blood and guts. They've bled for that university, and I'm talking football. I'd play baseball, but football's where I'd see most of this. They just felt like they did everything they could to help that university. And they said it that way. The pride of graduating from the University of Tennessee or Vanderbilt University was special, man. It was a special thought, and it stayed with you the rest of your life. Your best friends were people you played with in high school or played with in college.
Yes.
They are still to this day for me. At 76 years old, my best friends were teammates and our coaches.
Isn't that
teammates
amazing?
or coaches that I coached with. That's my best friend.
Isn't that amazing?
And we're losing that, Tony. It's disappearing. And look at the Tennessee quarterback this year. A first-class young man.
Yes.
And I do think he cared about the University of Tennessee. Mm-hmm. I do. But he's there 6 months and he's gone.
Mm-hmm.
He's gone. It's the way of the world. And I don't think the dollars are going to stop, but this transfer portal could be fixed. That's the way you stop that. And we can't have players playing at 5 places in 5 years. That's not the way this is supposed to be. Where do you get a degree from? How's all this stuff?
There's none of that. No, we don't even talk about that anymore.
We don't even talk about it.
Doesn't exist.
We don't talk about education at all. At all. And that to me is where the amateurism is gone and the education is gone. Now maybe they're getting degrees, but where and how?
About a week and a half ago.
Are these universities letting them come in? Because I had transfer kids.
Yeah.
And look, most of the time kids would lose some hours, especially when they come to Vanderbilt or Rice.
From a coaching perspective,
Vanderbilt or Rice, you would lose hours to transfer in.
Watson,
would.
From a coaching perspective, okay? Like you think about the room and the locker room. And we use the term the room. As a head coach, when the kids know, hey, this guy over here is sitting on 9 games and it's just he has a convenient injury. He's just conveniently hurt, okay? The head coach about a week and a half ago made a cryptic, because he's sick of it too. He made a cryptic reference in the press. Hey, we're all humans. And so I guess what he's thinking is, you know what? It's not going real well for us. I'm going to change the mojo, and we're just going to get this guy out of here. Apparently that's what happened. I mean, I'm not in the room. I'm not a tea leaf reader. But again, I'm back to this. All the stuff you learned, all the knowledge that you have, if the guy came to you and said, Watson, I know, you're a legend here, this, that, and the other. How do I handle this? I mean, what do you even say to a guy who's got a kid sitting there at 9 games that's not going to play? Would you have kicked him off the team a long time ago?
Yeah, Tony, you're right. And again, I feel uncomfortable commenting about something I know nothing about. But
well, let's just say it's hypothetical.
It's all like what you're saying.
Yeah, let's say it's hypothetical. Yeah, let's just say it's hypothetical.
Hypothetically, you got to sue the guy. You can't just throw money out like that and let it disappear. I mean, in essence, there's fraud involved in
that.
And fraud.
Lieutenant Mark in Colombo asked the following: why don't these NILs take the players' money and put it in escrow accounts payable at the end of these seasons? Maybe that's a way to keep these guys honest. Hey, in theory, great idea. Here's the problem. Unless every school in America does it, that ain't going to happen. Because the minute somebody gets a leg up on you because they're infusing cash to somebody immediately, Tennessee couldn't wait to put a couple $100,000 in the hands of Nico Amasuna going to leave you. I mean, that's just, and I remember back then when it happened that we were all like, whoa, this is a new day. And here's the other thing. When you start thinking about the ramifications of this, because Watson's going to be the first to tell you, this Collins guy can play. And you know what that means? That means that there's a coach out there right now that's contacted him. Probably a high-level college basketball program, Watson, has contacted him and said, hey, we will use your services next year. Am I lying, Watson? Somebody will not be able to wait to get that kid's services. 5 years and five teams in 5 years. What a freaking disgrace.
Oh, Tony, don't ever think that this portal is legit. That nobody contacts a kid till he goes into the portal.
Yeah.
I mean, don't think that. That's impossible. It can't work that way. Now, I'm not saying the coach is talking to the kid, but that's where these dang agents are so powerful. And they put it out. Maybe it's the kid wanting to leave, his agent puts it out, or maybe it's a coach on the staff that hears this and then calls the agent and said, is this true? I don't know that they're going straight to the kid, but it doesn't matter. The communication is there. These people, look at how many sign right out of the portal. I mean, I always loved it when one said, I'm going to the portal, but I don't want to be, I'm going to close the recruiting. I mean, you're basically saying, I already got the place I'm going. I mean, so no, that's the problems are not coming with how much money you're paying the kids. That's the way it is, and it's going to stay that way. The problems are coming from kids leaving so quickly to go somewhere else. They better address that quickly. And we got to get back to where you got one-time transfer. So if you're a freshman and you transfer to another place as a sophomore,
yep,
then you're going to be there 3 years, unless you're an NBA or a player or an NFL player. You're going to be there. So, and we can get back to having what I saw pop up at Tennessee the other day with the women's basketball that had players that had been at that school through both coaches. And I just don't want to lose that, because I think it's going to hurt these kids. We talk about hurting the school.
Oh, it's hurting the kids.
I think it's going to hurt the kid, because the kid's not leaving with anything in his heart. He don't leave with any pride in being at that university. And that's what I think is sad, because that's one of the great things that you get from being special enough to be a college athlete, and it stays with you the rest of your life. Condredge Holloway at the University of Tennessee.
Amen.
You don't hear Condredge Holloway, you hear Condredge Holloway from the University of Tennessee.
Amen.
And I'm not trying to get on some mound here and pat my chest, but that's, to me, what these kids are going to miss, that they're not going to have for the rest of their life, that I've had for my whole life.
A wise man,
and all athletes have had up till now for their whole lives. I can talk to so many of my UAB guys. I'll take them from being there 12 years.
Yep.
And talk to so many of those, and what do they talk about? Pride of playing football at UAB. I remember, Tony, when they were doing away with football, and they did finally.
Yes.
I left before they did. I fought it the whole time I was there, but finally when I left, they did away with it. I can't tell you how many football players call me crying that my kids aren't going to know where I played. That matters, man, and that's what we're losing here, and I think it's going to really hurt the kids.
Hey, Watson, you'll love this. I was playing music last year with the Fountain City Ramblers. We were setting up down at Calhoun's on the river. Kind of a warm spring night. And a guy that played at Tennessee Tech during your time there walked up to me. And he says to me, hey, Tony, I just want you to know something. I don't really like your show. He said, but I listen on Wednesdays because that's my coach on there. He said, and I want you to know something. Me and my former teammates that I keep in contact with, he said, and there are a bunch of them. We text each other and keep up with life with each other. We talk about his appearances on your show. And he looked at me and said, Wednesday with Watson Brown. And I said, man, I said, that is really, I said, first of all, you've got good taste if you don't like my show. And secondly, you have better taste if you love Watson Brown. But it's part and parcel of what we're talking about here. And he went on to tell me, I played several years there, and I made great friends. And then we had to talk about what's going on in this era, this crazy ass era. And the truth is, Watson, these kids don't know any different. Again, there is one senior in the league, 4 or 5 year player, scholarship player, being celebrated for Senior Day across 16 Southeastern Conference basketball teams. That is totally and completely unacceptable and insane. That is wrong. That is morally wrong, aside from anything else.
That's why I love being on your show, because y'all have such good insight. And that's a perfect story right there. Just that one story with walking a restaurant, the guy comes up to you and talks to you like that, Tony. That's the perfect story about this whole thing. And in the long run, that's what we're going to miss here, is that. You get bought 3 times, you go play, and you get your money, and you move on to the next one. You really don't have any deep feeling for anything other than teammates you played with, maybe, and the money.
Yep.
That's pretty much it. And even to go as far as 2 years, Avia came to Vanderbilt.
Yep.
And I think he truly has a good feel for Vanderbilt, because he was there 2 solid years and did a lot of good things and played injured.
Yep.
And I think he would leave there saying, man, I laid blood and guts at that place.
I agree with that.
And I'm very proud of that.
I agree with that.
And so even 2 years, but because I've had junior college kids that feel that way.
Sure.
That do feel that way. But man, when you're at 2 and 3 different places, and then you go into your senior year and you're there for 6 months and you leave, you don't get many like Aguilar that get that good feel even in a 6-month time. And I promise you, he is very proud to be involved. There's no doubt in my mind listening to him talk. No doubt in my mind.
I love the guy. Let me ask Sean Sinclair this. Hey, Sean, you've been around coaches, players, the recruiting scene, the whole deal. Won't they line up to get this Frankie Collins guy, Sean? Because he can play.
Coaches will knock each other out of the line to get a good player.
Okay. And that's the sad part. And that's what the kid and his representation. And listen, I'm not picking on Frankie Collins. I'm not. Because he's not alone. He might be the first here, but he ain't going to be the last. He might be the first, but this is indicative of a bigger issue that we have, and I feel so sorry. Watson, last night we had a couple of youngsters that went to the game. Parents live in the Carolinas. Poor South Carolina, and I do mean poor, because whatever they're spending on NIL, it's too much. And they are 16th in the league in NIL expenditures. You're a former athletic director. Should there be a minimum that's requested or required of these schools in the Southeastern Conference that you have to spend in football or basketball, Watson? Or should you be allowed to field a team like that if that's what you want to do and put your resources into football or women's basketball like they're doing?
I don't think the conference, Tony, should get involved in that.
Okay.
I just don't. I think you're in the conference if you're truly competing to win. Now, if it goes on for long periods of time,
yep,
and then there might be a conversation. Say, hey guys, you all are not keeping up here. Is there an issue? Can you not? Can you just not come up with enough money? What are your problems? That's the way. If I was a commissioner, I might approach it, but I wouldn't until after it's been a long. It's not 1 or 2 years. I'd wait and see, because you know, I just think commitments come and go sometimes, and you get excited. You got a new coach in, and you'll make a commitment that you didn't make to the last guy, and that's kind of sad too. That happens. Believe me, it happens. Or the guy did really good and then faded at the end, and then all of a sudden they start losing some of their money. And they have to let him go because they got to get that money back again. There's so many pieces that get affected by this quick fix money deal that we're now dealing with. And the amateurism, guys, is gone. I don't mean to be negative, but it is. The amateurism and the feel of amateurism for the fans, honestly, the fans have accepted it better than I thought.
Fans don't care.
I did not think
fans don't care.
Would like the feel of we're playing with pros now.
I agree with that.
But winning still matters, and pride in your school and watching your school win still matters. And I think the fans have accepted the fact that everybody's doing it, and so why not? Let's go be the best we can be, and however we got to do it.
And that's what South Carolina women's basketball does. She goes out, and they have the best roster. They buy the best players. Them and UConn, and there's a couple other ones that, you know, kind of compete at the top of that thing. And Tennessee spent top 5 money this year on their roster, Watson. It just didn't work out. She's got a bunch of gals that don't get back on defense. There's a whole lot of things going on with them. But we're visiting with the great Watson.
She's got to recruit better, Tony. She's got to do a better job in recruiting. And because they don't look as talented to me as some of the ones they're playing. I know some of the things she does and this and that she's going to deal with, but I think she's got to up the recruiting too. And, you know, Tony, this money comes in because they're excited about the coach and the program.
That's right.
And when you lose the excitement about the coach, the money's going to fall off. So you're going to start seeing a lot quicker changes than we used to also, in my opinion.
Brian,
it's going to move up. It's not going to be 4 years. It's going to be 1 or 2 now.
Brian, read to Watson Brown the statement that Danny White said about his coach. I want to get his thoughts on that. While you look that up, I want to remind people that my friends at Simpson's Meats sponsor Watson on a Wednesday. And Watson, your meat's on the way. Young Sam tells me that your meat is on the way, and you're going to get some unbelievable melt-in-your-mouth steaks this time around. Steaks make a great gift. Gift box is available 24/7, 365. And look, if you want to buy in bulk, hey, beautiful. They've got half and quarter cows available. They've got a store in West Knoxville, Level Road. Go in there. They've got, not only will you find the best in steaks and burgers and sausages and roast and chicken, but they've got a variety of local offerings at their butcher shop, like milk, honey, jams, eggs, so much more. And shop and get the best that Tennessee, our community here, has to offer. Brian, read the quote that Danny White had about Kim Caldwell, because Watson wore the AD hat there at a couple stops as well. He knows from whence he speaks. Go ahead.
He just said that she's doing a great job.
Little vote of confidence there, Watson.
A lot of times that you cringe when you get it.
Kind of the last thing you want to hear when you've lost 5 or 6. Yeah,
when you aren't going good, the AD comes up and says, "Nah, he's our guy." You go, "Oh, Lord.
Oh boy." Hey, Watson, I was in radio one time. My kids were real young, and I had this rat-fink scum GM named Taylor Wallette. I'll say his name on the air. Just a bad guy. And Watson likes me because I don't care. Anyway, so Taylor, I had twins at home that were a year and a half old, and Laura had quit her job at Bush Brothers Beans, where she's got a master's degree in food science, and they loved her there, but she wanted to be at home with the kids, and do that whole deal, and I'm not going to stand in the way of that. Everybody makes their own decisions, and you kind of live with, the consequences of having or not having, as it were. But anyway, we made it work. So I go to Taylor and I say, listen, because this is how I am. I'm a man, I wasn't 40, but I walk up to Taylor and I go to his office and I say, listen, word on the street is that you're getting ready to flip formats, and that you're getting ready to, if you're going to let us go, please let me know so I can go get another job. I've worked really hard here, and I've been here several years, and I know you didn't inherit me, and I know the previous GM is the one that really was for the format of the station, sports format, on the FM at the time. This is about 24 years ago, and he looks me right in my eyes and says to me in early December, he says, Tony, I don't know what you're talking about. We would never do that. And I looked at that lying SOB, and I walked right out of there and made a deal with another radio station. Because when I came back from Christmas break, what did that lying SOB do to me, Watson?
The exact opposite.
He fired me like I wasn't even there. He fired me.
Yeah.
He said, I got bad news for you. I said, Taylor, question for you. Why didn't you treat me with some respect and tell the truth to me? I would have kept it to myself. Why didn't you do that? He just looked at me. And that's what we're dealing with.
Well, it's life. It's life. And that's why I think people say, when I was young, I'd always say, older people are just crusty. Well, now that I'm old, I look back and there's a reason you get crusty. You get burned. And then you're not as trustworthy as you were before, and you're not as open giddy and just the man, everything's great. You study things better, and you just believe and know you got to do more yourself and don't rely on other people so much. And so much of that's what I think makes us young people think we older people now are crusty, because we've been through the mill and we've all been burned. We've all been burned at some point.
Let's see if you and I agree, and everybody listening. The older I get, the more I trust God, the less I trust people. Can I get an amen on that? No offense.
Amen.
I love people.
Amen.
I love you. I love you listening to you. You're going to do work for me. We're going to have a contract. I love you. I'm for you, not against you. Love you. Love you. We're going to get it in writing. And, all that stuff.
Well, and the older we get, Tony, family, God, family, and friends become what it's all about. And when you're younger and you're in the rat race, you let a lot of other priorities take over, right. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that at all. But as you get older, then those priorities change too.
And it's kind of what Sean said earlier, because Sean had a great point. There was old wise man. You can't tell young kids this, these athletes right now that are jumping 5 different schools, because that's what this is all about here.
It is.
Because they have people representing them that are lying to them because they want to line their pockets. Hey, Frankie, you need to sit out. Or XYZ guy, you need to go get out of Tennessee or get out of wherever because the grass is greener over there and they're going to pay you. But here's the problem. We're going to destabilize your life. You're very happy where you are. You've got good friends there. Maybe you have a girlfriend there. Now, look, if you're miserable, go. I mean, nothing's holding you down. But these kids aren't miserable. They're just jumping around to jump around. And an old wise man once said, not everything in life that counts can be counted. And somewhere along the way, we've all forgotten that. We've all forgotten that. We've just lost our way in sports, man.
You're right, and money is a tough issue. It's something we all need. We can't live without it. And when you get to the point greed kind of comes into play with it, and you want more, and you want more, and you want more. And that leads to some of these issues we're talking about right now, Tony. And anytime you're trusting somebody, there's always an agenda on the other side, most of the time. Not always. But most of the time there's an agenda on the other side that really doesn't have anything to do with you. And so that's just the way it works. And they'll learn through getting burned some. These kids will. There's no doubt about it. And I've so hard said the kids have every right to do whatever the rules say, and because we coaches did.
Amen.
We jumped around.
Amen.
I jumped around.
Amen.
I was at 6 different universities as a head coach, not as an assistant or whatever, as a head coach. I coached at 6 different universities. So I understand that, and I understand what they're going through. But the rules, it's not them, it's the rules. They've got to come up with a way that they don't have these decisions to make. And they need to stay where they are and fight through it and learn when you're knocked down to get back up again. What happens if they get knocked down? Somebody else wants them and they leave. They don't fight the situation. And that was one of the great things we learned as an athlete is because how many times have we been knocked down in life, Tony? Good gracious.
Oh, hell.
And you learn to get up, get your head up, and go at it and fight the situation and get it right. You learn that.
Watson, I never dreamed.
You learn that through test and trial and error.
Yeah, I never dreamed when that happened to me 20 years ago. I never dreamed that I would be in the spot I'm in right now. I never dreamed that I would be in the spot where I'm independent, doing my own thing. And I had to get roughed up twice like that. And listen, you know this. When you're doing what you did and kind of what I'm doing, but really what you did, when you get fired publicly, and back then it was in the newspapers for me. And, and your friends see you and it's kind of humiliating. And that happened twice to me. And they walk up to you and, they want to say something and people see you, but they don't. And that whole thing, I wouldn't trade 1 second of the pain for what it taught me. Not 1 second. And I hate it for these kids because they're running. The first time they have a little issue in their life at these schools, they're running or they're quitting or they're leaving. And I'm not sure what they're learning. But Watson, I love you and I appreciate you, my brother.
Well, it's always an honor to be on with you guys.
You're my man. Thank you. Again, Uno Senior that started at that college 4 or 5 years ago in the SEC, one senior is going to finish his career this year. One. And as Brian Hartman pointed out 1 year ago, at the University of Tennessee, there were 2 of them on our roster alone. I would love to know what that roster was, what that number was 4 years ago, 3 years ago. I am not one of these, hey, let's put the toothpaste back in the tube. I'm enjoying this era, but that's a sad-ass stat, man. That is a sad stat. That is a sad stat. Because these